വലിയൊരു ഹാർട്ട് ബ്രേക്കിലേക്കാണ് പോകുന്നത്.
ടീച്ചറുടെ മോൻ എല്ലാം പഠിച്ചു, പെണ്ണുങ്ങളെ വളക്കാനൊഴിച്ച്.
Now, it is such a pleasure and quite an honor for us to host another UK exclusive interview with an actor and a writer who is par excellence and obviously very talented. His latest Malayalam film, Premalu, has literally been a mega success at the box office and is still continuing its theatrical run here, especially in the UK. So Sham, thank you so much for joining me on filmeshilmy.com, and a warm welcome and congratulations on Premalu's success.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And first of all, sorry for keeping you waited, bro. Actually, I had to finish some works of mine and मेरा थोड़ा shoot भी चल रहा था, तो इसके लिए थोड़ा आपको wait कराना पड़ा. So इसके लिए I'm really sorry for keeping you waited. And thank you so much for the wishes.
Well, as I say, intezar ka phal meetha hi hota hai, so it's really good.
हाँ
I think this will definitely be a very sweet interview, I'm sure. But look,
हाँ
I
हाँ
think, I think the sort of body of work that you've had, Sham, is very fascinating and very admirable, because you've been, in a way, an independent sort of creator, whether it's the shorts, whether it's the, the writing. And I think, obviously, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think Adi is perhaps your most funniest character that you've done, I think, in terms of the acting roles that you've done.
I
So,
think so.
yeah,
That's the kind of response I get. So I think maybe Adi is the funniest.
absolutely. So again,
Yeah.
it's such a fun character that literally stays with you after the film, for you to
Yeah.
explore this sort of a very, um senior sort of person in an IT firm who's obviously very much head over heels for a girl who clearly doesn't have the same interest as him. Um, for you to explore these different strands, do you think you've kind of had an influence of seeing that, whilst you were also growing up, and even you're during your teenage years as well, of the characteristic traits that Adi has?
Yeah, more than my teenage years, I think it's because of my experience in Mumbai. I was in Mumbai for 5 years. I just told you. तो मैं क्या करता था वहाँ पे मैं कॉर्पोरेट में काम करता था. मल्टीपल कॉर्पोरेट में काम किया है मैं. So I was in Citibank, I was in Tata, I was in
Oh.
India Infoline.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like odd jobs in the 5 years of duration. So I have this, thing of observing people from my childhood days. I used to perform mimicry when I was in school. So I used to, yeah, I used to observe my friends and my relatives and perform their, kind of gestures and the way they talk. So maybe this thing has helped me to form the character and core of Adi, because I have seen such people in my, corporate life who actually think themselves as the, perfect person in the world, but we know that they are not. They just act like, yeah, we are always perfect kind of thing. But maybe that helped me to, create Adi like
Mm.
this, how you see now.
Right. And because you are a writer, Sham, do you
Yeah.
feel, because when you write characters or when you write a story, do you think that has a massive impact on the way you perform a certain character as well?
Yeah, I think so, because I haven't written my film script yet, but I used to write for web series on YouTube. Namely, there is this popular YouTube channel Karikku in Kerala. So I wrote a script for them. The series is called Betterhalf. It's a couple rom-com.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think it helps me to understand the character better. So every time I get a script is being passed to me. So I read it like an actor, and then I try to understand it in the perspective of a writer. So what contributions I can make to this character? Just like the mannerisms of Adi, I thought as a writer what else I can do. Also as an actor, but that thing, air quote thing, is my contribution. The JK thing was there, the just kidding thing was there, but I asked Girish if I can do this thing, even if it's necessary or not. This guy keeps using this thing for,
Mhm.
for unwanted things as well. So I think this writer perspective also helps me to create the character in a better manner.
Sure. And I think what this film does, it's also a beautiful love letter to Hyderabad as well as Kerala.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
it's also very eye-opening on showcasing the prospects of higher education and the progress that's
Mm,
also happening and the opportunities that's out there
yeah,
for students to pursue a life, as well as in a way through this sort of love story as well. It's also showcasing the struggles as well of what people go
yeah,
through to get jobs, even if it is on the pretext of romance. I also
yeah,
do feel that it's a very contemporary feel of Hyderabad and Kerala as well. Like, of course, we've seen so many rooted stories, but I think this is
mhm,
amongst the rare few films which really does delve into showcasing the lives of contemporary youths as well. So,
yeah.
how effective do you think this has been on the youngsters who have been watching this film, and do you feel like it offers a sense of relief as well to them that life is pretty going good and there is opportunities out there, especially in South India?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll come to Girish Shetty's perspective of this. Girish Shetty is the writer director of this movie. If you see his previous movies like Super Sharanya and Tannirmathan Dinangal, those
Hmm.
were his previous movies. Most of his hero characters are like this. They are not like this perfect gentleman we see. They are like people who are not so successful. They are just trying to do things, but they are not getting succeeded. They are, they love a girl, but she doesn't love him back. That's the kind of characters Girish creates. Because Girish thinks all these characters are just like him. That's the way he is. He's just a simple common man who
Hmm.
doesn't have all the fruitful things in his life. But when he sees a person like Adi, he's just worried. Okay, this is the epitome of perfectness. So then I am not a perfect guy.
Hmm.
But he's okay with that. That's the kind of characters Girish create. I think in Girish movies, that's the way he portrays his male characters, like the hero character. He always is not a perfect guy, who
Yeah.
doesn't have everything in his life. He's just a common guy. He's trying to get a better job. He's trying to get better education. He's trying to attract a girl, but he's not being able to attract her because she's falling for some better guy who's so successful in his life. So I
Hmm.
think that's the perspective of Girish Shetty. Maybe that affects the general youth of Kerala or maybe in the South who's just normal guys, not like the so-called sophisticated guys, just normal guys like us. We are all very much motivated with Girish Shetty's characterization.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Like, it's quite interesting that Fahadh Faasil is on board as well in producing this film, because I feel a lot of the
Yeah,
humor that I've seen him do in his movies, I felt like it kind of seeped in a little bit as well. His Because he has a very very subtle take in doing comedy. In fact, I think
yeah,
every actor nailed their part, even if it's Naslen as well in his main role was
yeah,
amazing in the role. I mean, every actor, you all nailed it. Um, when it comes to
correct.
comedy, Sham, I think it takes a certain level of balance, because या
Yeah,
तो फिर आप अंडर परफॉर्म करते हो और फिर
हाँ,
हंसी नहीं आती है, या तो फिर आप
correct.
ओवरबोर्ड जाते हो and it becomes cringe.
हाँ,
How
हाँ.
tough was it for you as an actor to guess, have that sort of a level of fusion, in terms of presenting it in a well balanced manner?
Yeah. So basically मेरा करियर यूट्यूब में स्टार्ट हुआ था तो पुनमुटा there is a YouTube channel. Punmutta means golden egg. That's the literal meaning of that name. तो हम लोग एक्चुअली कॉमेडी करता था उसमें तो इट्स लाइक 2018 से लेके 2020-21 तक कंटिन्यूअसली वी वर डूइंग शॉर्ट वीडियोस स्केच वीडियोस तो मेरे लिए ये कॉमेडी करना एक्चुअली मेरे लिए इट्स माय बेस्ट थिंग आई बिलीव मेरे को थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है कॉमेडी करने के लिए rather than making if you offer me a serious role I'll have to work some on that gestures and everything of the character but comedy मेरे लिए actually it comes naturally to me and even to perform I love doing comedy. So maybe that's what helped me to do Adi because Adi has a certain line. You are not supposed to cross that line. Just like you
Yeah,
said, थोड़ा थोड़ा और हो गया तो एकदम कैरिकेचरिस्ट लगेगा वो थोड़ा
caricature.
नीचे जाएगा तो it won't work because Adi has to work in this movie or else nothing will work. So
Hmm.
I think this experience with the YouTube channel and doing comedy sketches and all, it has helped me a lot to, perform like the way you see now. It's a
Right.
comedy background, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I think it's very interesting that we were talking about this being the funniest role you've done. But I think a lot of other roles you've done in the
Yeah,
past as well. I think even if we look at Heaven,
yeah,
Amaran, even this short
yeah.
film you did called Night Call.
Night, Night Call, yeah, yeah,
Again, there's also a very intense seriousness about the
yeah,
stories that you've had here. I think when it comes
yeah,
to
yeah.
seriousness and doing intense films as well, how do you think that's really helped you to explore another side of you as an actor?
It actually depends on the script, bro. So, for if you see the short film, I'm not sure if you have seen that short film, Night Call. It's a single character short film. There's only one actor, which is me. It's like a 23-minute short film. So I had to perform alone. There are only voices, like phone call voices are there. So before that short film, I was a comedian. I was considered a comedian because I
Okay.
was doing only comedy roles. So
Okay.
when this role comes to me, I was like, मैं उसको पूछ रहा था जो डायरेक्टर है, अरे भाई मेरे से क्यों करवाना है तेरे को, क्योंकि मेरे को एक इमेज है वो कॉमेडी का है. तो लोग मुझे देख के हंसता था वो टाइम पे, मतलब स्क्रीन में मैं आएगा तभी पीपल लाइक ओके दिस गाइस इज गोइंग टू डू समथिंग फनी. बिकॉज मेरा इंस्टाग्राम रील्स इफ यू सी दिस आर इट्स कॉमेडी रील्स लाइक रिलेटेड टू म्यूजिक एंड ऑल. सो आई आस्क्ड हिम मेरे को क्यों चूज किया तूने, क्योंकि मैं तो कॉमेडी करता हूँ, ये तो एकदम सीरियस रोल है. So he was like, that's because why I choose you. Because people
Um,
will think that, okay, there's a comedy show is going to start. Then when this intensity happens, people will be shocked. That's what
mm.
actually happens with this Night Call short film. I got a Best Actor award for that
Yeah, that's
short
amazing.
film. Yeah, Prem Nasir Foundation award. So that actually literally changed my career because after that I got a character in the movie 18 Plus Journey of Love. That
Mm.
was the biggest character I done before Adi. And
Mm.
again, it was a serious character because I was doing the heroine's brother against Naslen again, the same hero of Premalu.
Mm.
That was very intense character, an upper class guy who doesn't believe in equality and all.
Mm.
So I think these kind of characters coming to me is I really enjoy. So I kind of exploring characters right now because after Adi, I've started getting a lot of Adis, a lot of scripts which another Adi. So I'm not going to do another Adi. So I'm just looking for a better character, which
Mm.
is totally different with Adi. So that's what I love doing. Even in Heaven, it was a police character, but it was had a slight comic touch to that. The
Mm.
movie is totally a serious thriller movie, but my character was slightly comical.
Sure.
Even with yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. Various characters is what I want to do in my career, and what I want to make my filmography looks like.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah,
think I would love to know a bit more about how you've survived, Sham, because I think in an industry like this, because see, we're also independent as an organization,
yeah,
and we know how difficult it is to sustain
yeah,
yourself, especially when when finances maybe, especially for you, when finances are low, as a creative in an industry like this, it's very, very difficult. Um,
yeah, yeah.
how tough is it? Because I've often spoken to people in Hindi, but I would love to know, even in the Malayalam industry, how tough is it actually for you to sustain yourself when you are an independent content creator and a creative?
It's really tough, bro. Actually, I quit my job in 2015. As I said, I was working with Citibank. So at a point of time, I realized that I'm not doing what I want to do. There's a saturation point, right? So I was thinking, okay, I'm not supposed to do an office job or 9 to 5 job. This is not my thing. I wanted to do something creatively. So I decided to, okay, whatever happens, I'll leave my job. Then I quit. Then I had some savings for like one and a half year. I was okay, I have some savings. After that, I have no idea how I survived till now, till Premalu happened, because it was really difficult. I was not getting any work. I was just still trying because nobody knows me that time. So I was just doing short videos, Instagram videos, and I was anchoring in a television channel. Then I was also working with a PR firm as a promotion thing. I was an assistant to that promotional PR firm. I did that because I could see film stars. I just wanted to meet film stars and I could talk to them, or maybe I could meet some directors. So I was doing all these odd things. Then I started doing Instagram reels. Then this YouTube thing happened, Ponmuta. That actually became a turning point in my career. So we were trying different videos, and some of them got clicked. People started noticing us. People started saying, "Oh, this is that guy from the YouTube channel. He's nice. He does the comedy roles. He's good." That's when I actually started getting some recognition, and then some short works like ad films, short films that started to happen with me. So I got some money to survive. So still, I think even now I'm just okay. I won't say that I'm getting so much money now. No, no, I'm still struggling. But now my wife has a job. I married last year. I married, so
Hmm.
she is working. So she is supporting me.
Oh,
So
bless
now
you.
I'm kind of saying, okay, we can pay the rent and all. That's fine. She tells me, okay, I'll pay the rent. You do this. Okay, we'll manage this thing. That's how it happens now.
But that's so beautiful to see that support, though, and I think that's so refreshing to hear. I
Yeah,
think also if we look at it, it's very nice to see another film called Manjumal Boys that's also just
yeah,
released recently, and again that
yeah.
talks
I
about
saw it yesterday. I saw the
yeah,
movie yesterday. Yeah,
and
it's
it talks
amazing. Yes.
and again it talks about friendship. It again talks about this whole idea of self-discovery, which I think Premalu kind of addresses as well in a very subtle
Mm,
way, though it's more of a rom-com than perhaps a self-discovery
yeah,
story, coming of age film.
yeah,
What do
yeah.
you think is contributing towards such stories emerging in Malayalam cinema now?
Uh, when it comes to, as I said earlier, when it comes to Girish's movies, he wants people to laugh. He's a kind of a filmmaker who wants to entertain people. So if you see, we have this great history of Malayalam cinema, where I think you know Priyadarshan sir,
Of course.
Priyadarshan sir, when he started making movies in 1983 or something, his first movie was Poochakure Mookuthi.
Hmm.
So when this movie happened, Malayalam cinema was in a different state, entirely different state. We were all producing serious movies, very dramatic movies, thriller movies or kind of that movies. But when Priyadarshan sir started with this movie, which was a satirical comedy, total, kind of different movie. So everyone was looking like, what is happening? What kind of movie is this? But it was a big hit, and later it was, I think, remade into Hera, no, no, not Hera Fairy. Hangama, I think.
Drama.
Hangama is the remake of Puchakiru Mukuti. So Premsar started making movies like this. Then there is Satyan Andikadu, another great director. He also started making movies which is very much rooted to the Kerala, normal life of the people, normal common man's life. So I think Girish also caters to the same category. He wants to explore life of common people, movies like these, Premalu, even if you see Tannirmathan Dinangal or
Hmm.
Super Sharanya, all these movies are very basic storylines. These are not like we don't have to use our brain so much and now what is going to happen next, this is how the story is going, so maybe this, we don't have to think any of this, we just have to go to the theater, laugh our heart out, and then just go back home and just cherish those memories. That's the kind of movies Girish wants to do. So I think all these movies like Premalu, be it Premalu or Super Sharnya or Tanirmathan Dinangal, he wants to do that because Satyanandikad sir, the veteran director, called him after watching Premalu,
Hmm.
and he told him, never try to change your style. Don't ever try to change your style. People will tell you, okay, now try something different.
Hmm.
A different genre you can try. And he said, you're the best in this genre like rom-com. So just don't change yourself. Keep doing the movies you want to do. Don't ever listen to anyone else.
Right, absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
it's a very wonderful as well because, on one hand, you've got Manjumal Boys recently and you've got
Yeah.
Premalu. And at the same time, you've also got a film like Brahma Yuga, which has
Brahma
one,
Yuga. Yeah.
which again is so fascinating as a piece of cinema. I've always
Yeah.
been very like I've always been very fascinated with the way Malayalam cinema makes their movies. Of course, we
Yeah.
can't say every film that comes out is good because there are some
Yeah.
films that
Sure.
are also not good. I mean, in any
Yeah.
language.
Of course. Of
But
course. Yeah.
I think what I can generally find is that there is a sense of creative fearlessness that's there in the Malayalam
Yeah.
cinema in particular. In fact, a lot of people, even in South as well, they do
Mm,
appreciate Malayalam cinema a lot. Sham, what do you think
yeah.
has really contributed towards this whole open-mindedness when it comes to making films and presenting original storytelling and visual aesthetics for the cinema?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, we have a history in Malayalam cinema of always producing something new. If you go back to the 80s, like I said, Priyadarshan sir started with the slapstick kind of comedy movies. Or we have KG George sir. He's passed away recently. So he has created very, very, unique movies. His genres are very, very different, like thriller genres, drama. There is a movie called Yavaniga. It was a path-breaking movie in Kerala. And if you see Satyanandikad, he's always tried a different movie, like Common Man's Story. Then we had directors like Shaji Kailas. He always did political thrillers.
Hmm.
So it always happened like we always tried different genres of movies. We were never hesitant to, okay, we'll keep sticking on to these kind of movies. No, we always tried to break that kind of movies. We wanted to try something different, tell new stories. We had Padmarajan director. He always told very, very different stories. You cannot match a movie with this one movie with another movie because they're all different.
Mm.
So unique. Every movie is so unique. So we had this culture, I think, of trying out, different movies without any hesitation or without any fear.
Mm.
We don't mind any, it's not like other industries, or I'm not blaming any other industry, because in other industries maybe they always go for that larger movies, commercial movies. But
Mm.
in Kerala we have always tried, offbeat movies with good storylines, small movies. There may not be bigger stars, but the story would be really good, that will cater to the people. Maybe I think that's the culture, or maybe the history of Malayalam cinema we have always been following.
Sure. And I'm going to talk about the production of heroism. I think in Malayalam, I think it's so distinct from Telugu
Yeah,
and Tamil. Like with Telugu and Tamil, there's still areas where it's still, the sort of masala hero sort of centric.
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there's very
yeah,
few
yeah,
Malayalam films, I think, that have that. But it's like, even if we see, for example, I mean, if we look at Mammootty, sir, for example, the fact that
yeah,
he played a gay character in Cartel last year, and
yeah,
now in
yeah,
Brahma
yeah.
Yugam, he's completely playing a very dark, evilish character. Um,
Yes, yes,
it's wonderful how we're seeing such big stars really move with the times, proceed with the
yeah,
times, and actually adapt themselves into playing roles which are more even vulnerable in many ways as well. So how do
yeah.
you feel, how do you think that what do you think about the vulnerability that we see, the emotional sort of side to the heroes, in Malayalam cinema? Do you think that's also a very progressive thing that maybe we all can learn from?
Yes, yes. In Malayalam movies, I think always if the hero is vulnerable, people likes to watch it more. Because if
Mm,
you see the filmography of Mohanlal or Mammootty or maybe Jairam, anyone, any actor, Dileesh, most of the characters which made them stars are vulnerable characters. No, very common characters. They have feelings. They cry for a girl. They have family issues. They won't hesitate to do characters like that. At the same time, they would do mass movies as well. To see Lalitan or Mohanlal's career, he has done movies like Dasharadham, Bharatam, Kireedam. These all are emotional dramas. At the same time, he has attempted movies like Narasimham or movies like Naran, bigger movies which has a mass appeal. The main character is like superhuman or something. Even Mamuka does movies like that. So I think they are okay with that, and even the audience want to see them like that only. They won't compel the actor to do, okay, you keep doing the mass movies, you'll only watch mass movies. No, not like that. If Even like you saw Mamuka's filmography, just like he did Kadal when he's 72 years old, and he's attempting a movie like Kadal, a gay character. That's the kind of conviction he has. Or all of the Malayalam actors, even Prithviraj did a movie called Mumbai Police. He did
yes.
a gay character in that movie. At that point of time, I think it's 2012 or something. So
Mm,
it was a taboo that time,
mm,
saying all these things loud. So I think we always have attempted and have shown the courage to do vulnerability on screen. So
yeah.
that's not something new for us, actually. For
And
Malayalam audience, it's not new.
exactly. And do you know what really also cemented this perspective for me as well is because last year there were two
Yeah,
beautiful films that came out called Thankam and 2018. And in
yeah,
them,
yeah,
again, if you look at Vineet Srinivasan's sort of
mm,
characters that he played in both those films, again, they're
yeah,
very vulnerable, especially in Thankam,
yeah,
actually.
yes, yes, yes,
So I think it just really impressed me a lot, actually, sort of
mm,
seeing such progressive storylines and stuff like that.
yes, 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 yeah,
Let's
yeah,
talk a bit more about your acting and your writing. Sham, एक तो एक्टिंग में आपके पास एक डायरेक्टर होता है और एक स्क्रिप्ट होता है,
हाँ,
तो वो बेसिक
हाँ,
मटेरियल आपको वो मिल जाते हैं.
हाँ,
But
हाँ.
उसके अलावा, what do you tap into? Which areas do you tap into to bring out certain emotions within a character? And I think when you're writing as well, what do you think influences your writing?
Yeah. So I think Premalu में मेरे को एक पूरा स्क्रिप्ट मिला था. Before Premalu, I have done small roles, ना छोटा छोटा रोल्स करता था, तो उसमें हम लोग को इतना पूरा स्क्रिप्ट नहीं मिलता था. अपना जो कैरेक्टर का सीन्स वगैरह होता है ना, तो वही मिलता था हम लोग को. तो वो दे देता है हम लोग को, देखो आपका कैरेक्टर ये है, थोड़ा देख लो, लाइन्स देख लो, ऐसा बोलता था. बट प्रेमलू में मेरे को पूरा स्क्रिप्ट मिला. तो
Hmm.
आफ्टर मेरा ऑडिशन जो हुआ, वो ऑडिशन के बाद मेरे को पता नहीं था कि इतना बड़ा कैरेक्टर है मेरा. तो आई वाज थिंकिंग जस्ट अनदर, ओके, ऑफिस गाय, सीनियर गाय, who's kind of एरोगेंट एंड ऑल. सो when I got the script, तो मैंने पूरा पढ़ के मेरे सीधा वाइफ को कॉल किया, अरे ये तो बहुत बड़ा कैरेक्टर है यार, तो विलन लग रहा है मेरे को, ऐसा बोला मैंने उसको. So after that I tried a lot of things to try to improve the character. तो उसके लिए basically मेरे को गिरीश ने मेरे को बोला था कि वो sophistication लेके आना है कैरेक्टर में. तो जैसा गिरीश इज अ वेरी कॉमन गाय, वेरी वेरी कॉमन गाय, के मलयालम मीडियम स्कूल में पढ़ा था वो, तो ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, विलेज गाय है. तो उसको चाहिए था कि मेरा जो कैरेक्टर आदि है एकदम सोफिस्टिकेटेड होना चाहिए. मतलब एक सेकंड, सॉरी, ओके. तो उसको जो चाहिए था कि वो कैरेक्टर एकदम सोफिस्टिकेटेड होना चाहिए, द वे ही टॉक्स, द वे ही वॉक्स, एवरीथिंग, इवन व्हेन ही मूव्स, व्हेन ही लुक्स लाइक दिस. सो देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स. तो उसके लिए मैं थोड़ा होमवर्क किया. आदि के लिए थोड़ा, हाँ, ज्यादा ही होमवर्क किया था मैं. आई स्टार्टेड वाचिंग मूवीज रिलेटेड टू द वेस्टर्न मूवीज वेयर these actors, sophisticated characters are there, like Wolf of Wall Street, how
Hmm.
DiCaprio walks, how DiCaprio moves, that sophisticated thing. ऐसा ऐसा थोड़ा, क्योंकि even I am a Malayalam medium guy.
Of course.
I'm not a CBSE, I'm not a CBSE guy. So इसके लिए थोड़ा होमवर्क करना था मुझे. और थोड़ा करते करते ऐसे हम लोग प्रैक्टिस भी करता था.
Hmm.
वर्कशॉप्स होता था, तो वर्कशॉप्स करते करते उसमें हम लोग को थोड़ा आइडियाज मिल रहा था. तो मैं उसको पूछता था गिरीश को, अच्छा मैं ऐसा करूँ क्या, ऐसा थोड़ा इसका एटीट्यूड ऐसा रहेगा, तो डायलॉग्स बोलते हैं तो थोड़ा ऐसा करेगा वो, तो नहीं तो व्हेन ही लुक्स लाइक, सो नॉर्मली मूव नहीं करता है, थोड़ा रोबोटिक मूवमेंट्स देता है ये बंदा. एकदम वो खुद को एकदम परफेक्ट समझता है. तो ऐसा सब ये इट हैपेंस एक्चुअली, वी कैन नॉट से देयर इज अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस. थोड़ा थोड़ा हम लोग करके करके हम लोग को आ जाता है. Then we understand how this character, every single minute thing we understand, we start to create this thing, naturally. We don't have to then okay, ये ऐसा ऐसा scene में वो ऐसा करेगा, we don't have to do that. After a certain point, Adi's, everything was coming naturally to me. I
Yeah.
was becoming Adi. So ऐसा ही होता है, हर एक कैरेक्टर के साथ ऐसा ही होता है. मेरे तरफ से थोड़ा रिसर्च रहता है, and I always wanted to know what's the backstory of this character. Like Adi का backstory क्या हो सकता है, कहाँ से, where is this guy coming from, what is his background, or what is his interest. All these things I ask the writer or the director, who's the writer. तो ऐसा थोड़ा रिसर्च मेरे साइड से होता है. I think that helps the character to make more believable on the screen.
Hmm. और खासियत ये है, जैसा मैंने earlier कहा था कि obviously it's a beautiful tribute to Hyderabad and of course Kerala. And I
Yeah,
think अगर देखा जाए तो एक बड़ा सा pan India movement हो रहा है Indian cinema में अभी, and I think it's so heartening and a very welcoming
yes,
movement as well, because I think we are literally part of the same country, but for some reason there's often been this north-south divide. I have no idea how it existed, why it
yeah,
existed, but it
and
has existed. I think for
yeah.
you as an independent content creator now, because क्योंकि आप खुद ब खुद चीजें करते हो, आपने खुद ब खुद काम किया है, तो आप कैसे उस पैन इंडिया मूवमेंट को अपने जो कंटेंट क्रिएशन है उस पे आप imbibe करना चाहोगे? Do you intend on actually, sort of bridging the gap as well, even when it comes to your independent content too?
या अभी मेरा इंडिपेंडेंट कंटेंट, अभी मतलब मेरा कुछ राइटिंग चल रहा है, मतलब वो तो एकदम पैन इंडियन कंटेंट नहीं बोल सकता, रोम कॉम ही लिख रहा हूँ मैं. बट जैसे मैं मुंबई में था, आई वॉज इन मुंबई, सो दैट टाइम बाहुबली रिलीज हुआ था.
Oh,
तो या 2013 और 15 आई थिंक. तो आई कुड सी हाउ नॉर्थ इंडियन पीपल आर सो thrilled about साउथ इंडियन मूवी, which was a thing which gave me a high, वो टाइम था. तो ये था, ये जो डिफरेंस था साउथ नॉर्थ का बीच में, थोड़ा थोड़ा मेरे को भी वो, आई हैड टू फेस दैट, वो मॉक करता था मेरा एक्सेंट को, द वे आई स्पीक इंग्लिश, वो सब वो मॉक करता था, अरे मद्रासी टाइप का, वो टाइप का. बट बाहुबली मेड अ बिग डिफरेंस इन इंडियन सिनेमा इंडस्ट्री on the position of South. So I could literally see how people started talking about how why Kattappa killed Bahubali. That was the main discussion during that time.
hmm.
So I think अभी 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 बहुत कुछ चेंज हुआ है एक्चुअली, स्पेशली आफ्टर ओटीटी. कोविड के बाद जब ओटीटी का एक सर्च हुआ है, उसके बाद अभी एक डिफरेंस मुझे फील नहीं होता है, बिकॉज आई डिड अ तमिल मूवी. अभी जो अमरन, शिवकार्तिकेयन का मूवी है, कमल हासन इज द प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ दैट मूवी.
Wow,
Yeah, so just imagine, I'm a big Kamal Haasan fan, and my producer is Kamal Haasan.
amazing, yeah,
So,
same here.
so that, yeah, so it all because of the content I created, the short contents created on Instagram. Just like I did this short movie, a short film called Night Call.
Hmm.
They saw the the Malayalam makers of the movie 18 plus saw the short film Night Call, and they called me to 18 plus the 18 plus the journey movie. And this Tamil people, the Tamil film crew saw the movie 18 Plus Journey, and they selected me for this Tamil movie, Amaran.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a Sivakarthikeyan movie. So I think there is not much barrier these days. Everything is same. Like the industry is now like Indian film industry. So we don't have much difference here. Yeah, maybe there will be some little talks about the South North thing, but I think now it's very vast. It's like Fahadh Faasil is doing two Tamil movies now simultaneously. So we are not getting Fahadh Faasil here. When I haven't seen Fahadh Faasil, he's my producer.
Hmm.
So I ask the other producers like Shyam Pushkaran or Dileesh when we can see Fahadh Faasil. So they say even his father haven't seen him in a long time because he's really busy doing this Tamil projects. So I think it's really cool now. The scenario is really it has broadened. Like the South North difference is not there in film industry. At least I think.
Right. It's I think
Yeah.
it's very fascinating, and I think it's a
Yeah.
very good movement that's happening as well. But you know,
Yeah.
Sham, I think one thing that I've sort of observed about South Indians generally across the slate is that there is a sense of optimism that's also there. I
Yeah.
feel like innate. I mean, obviously, in the films when they show tragedies, it's often very like playing the violins. I've often seen the chest thumping that often happens there, which is still
Yeah.
in there in the films. But I think when I've met them and then if they're going through some sort of hardship, there is a sense of hustle that I think that they have. There's like, चलो हो जाएगा. हाँ चलो
हाँ,
थोड़ी थोड़ी चीज हो गई है but हो जाएगा. हम कर लेंगे. वो टाइप का
कर
attitude.
लेंगे हम.
So how have has that attitude, I think, if at all, has helped with you in your hardships in life? And what do you think has really, kept you going, I think, over time?
This is actually answer was there in your question itself. It's optimism. I think if मेरा career छोड़ा मेरा life ही देखेगा तो it was always really hard for me. Like I lost my parents when I was in school. 10th और +2. So एक टाइम पे बहुत डिफिकल्ट था मेरे को सर्वाइव करने के लिए. तो मेरा अंकल वगैरह मेरा सब देखता था, मेरा एजुकेशन सब देखता था. बट स्टिल इट वाज डिफिकल्ट फॉर अ किड टू बी विदाउट पेरेंट्स. तो देन उसके बाद मैं एनिमेशन किया केरला में. मुझे वो क्रिएटिव इंटरेस्ट था, इसके लिए एनिमेशन कर रहा था मैं. बट वो टाइम पे रेसेशन आया, तो रेसेशन की वजह से वो लोग दे वर टेलिंग दैट एनिमेशन इंडस्ट्री में इतना काम नहीं मिलेगा अभी. It is not stable. Then I went to Mumbai. My uncle was there. Uncle was working in Mumbai. Uncle and auntie were in Mumbai. इसके लिए मैं मुंबई गया था. वहां पे ऐसा और जॉब्स करना स्टार्ट किया. तो वो इवन दैट टाइम मुझे तो कुछ क्रिएटिवली करना था. Because I told you I was doing mimicry and all, but I was not confident that I can be an actor. मुझे इतना कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं था. I'm really introvert actually. Still now I'm an introvert person, really introvert. My wife and me, we are both introverts. But now I can manage and deal with people. बट वो टाइम पे अगर सपोज एक लड़की मेरे से बात करने के लिए आएगा तो आई विल बी लाइक ओके स्टार्ट स्वेटिंग एंड ऑल. नो सॉरी. दैट वाज माय state that time. Then after going to Mumbai, it has changed a lot of things and changed my attitude actually towards life. I started mingling with people, and I realized there is no such thing as gender, differences. We are all like human beings. All things I got to understand that time. And even that time when I was doing job in Citibank, I wanted to do something with creative field. I used to draw. I used to do drawing and all and put it on Instagram. And people started liking and commenting. They were asking, अरे मेरा portrait कर सकते हैं क्या? मेरा sketch बना के दे सकते हैं क्या? ऐसा सब पूछता था. So we started doing that for money. 500 rupees, 300 rupees and all. Even that time I had this optimism. Okay, कुछ तो करने को मिल रहा है मेरे को कुछ. At least creatively, even I'm going to an office. शाम को आके घर पे आके थोड़ा ड्राइंग वगैरह कर सकता हूँ. देन आफ्टर अ पॉइंट आई स्टार्टेड टू रियलाइज दैट मुझे तो अभी इधर मुझे ये जॉब करना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो कुछ और देखना पड़ेगा. दोनों साथ में नहीं हो सकता. इसके लिए मैं एक वन फाइन मॉर्निंग आई डिसाइडेड ओके आई विल क्विट माय जॉब. बट डिडंट वांट टू यू नो गिव होप टू एनीवन. जस्ट गो विद द फ्लो. मुझे कुछ प्लान नहीं था मेरे हाथ में. जॉब तो मुझे छोड़ना ही था, तो छोड़ दिया मैंने. और अब मेरा घर वाले पूछ रहा था अभी तू क्या करने वाला है. मेरे पास कोई आंसर नहीं था. देखते हैं देखा जाएगा. जस्ट लाइक यू सेड, यू सी, दैट वाज माय आंसर. देन आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग दिस ऑड थिंग्स एवरी टाइम. बट इवन व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग दिस रैंडम थिंग्स आई हैड दिस होप ओके समडे कुछ तो मिलेगा मुझे, कुछ तो रिकॉग्निशन मिलेगा. जब आई हैड टोल्ड दिस इन फिल्म कंपेनियन इंटरव्यू.
Hmm.
आई हैड टू ट्रैवल फ्रॉम नेरुल टू कुर्ला.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you know. Yeah, you know Mumbai, right? So नवी मुंबई में था मेरा घर.
Hmm.
मेरा जॉब था गोरेगांव में. तो
Oh.
ऐसा कुर्ला से होके जाना था. तो कुर्ला स्टेशन में जब मैं उतरता था तो आई वाज लाइक मुझे कोई पहचान नहीं रहा है यार. मेरे ऐसा मेरा मन में आता था क्योंकि मैंने कुछ किया ही नहीं है। बट एज एन आर्टिस्टिक माइंड मुझे तो लगता था कि कोई मुझे पहचान नहीं रहा है यार। कोई तो आके मेरे को बोला हाँ तेरा वो देखा, मैंने तेरा वो वर्क देखा, अच्छा है। कोई बोलता नहीं था, मेरे को बहुत ये इरिटेशन होता था, मेरे को आई फेल्ट सैड। बट नाउ व्हेन आई गो आउट, लॉट ऑफ पीपल कम टू मी, ask me for selfies and they tell me my work is good. That's really really different, you know. That's what I wanted always, that's what I dreamt. So I keep dreaming everything. मेरा मैं तो एकदम डे ड्रीमर हूँ। जो कुछ मेरे साथ हो रहा है, मैं सब मेरा माइंड में कभी तो कभी मैंने मैंने देखा है।
Mm.
You know, you say that. So I think that optimism is what keeps me going even now. So even now when I'm doing a movie with Kamal Haasan sir, produced by Kamal Haasan sir, that's totally surreal for me. You know,
Mm.
once I wanted to meet Fahadh Faasil once. Now I have acted in his movie. So
Mm.
all these things are happening with me is really, surreal things. But I keep hoping, okay, one day I can act with Mohanlal sir or Mammootty sir or Kamal Hassan sir. I keep dreaming. So these dreams are what makes me keep going, I think.
Oh, I really resonate with that. And also, these are divine interventions in some sort of form or shape, you know.
Yeah,
Like
exactly,
God is
exactly.
definitely भगवान जो है वो देख रहे हैं और वो हमारी मदद भी
हाँ,
कर रहे हैं, you know, इस
हाँ,
journey में.
हाँ,
And I think it's so
yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
to see that. So I think it's really fascinating to hear about this Kamal Hassan film. Tell me a bit more about it. I'm very curious to know about it.
I cannot, tell more things about because it's really, they kept it in really secrecy. But I'm doing the character of Sai Pallavi's brother in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a movie. It's an army movie, military thing. It's a biopic of there was this guy in Tamil Nadu, an army officer. His biopic. So
Oh,
Sivakarthikeyan is doing the lead character. Kamal sir is producing the movie. So Sai Pallavi is the lead, female lead, and I'm doing the character of her brother. So I
wow.
cannot reveal more about this movie. It's a war kind of movie, you know, military army movie.
Mm.
So I think it's coming out this year. I think shooting is still going on. Started in I think March of last year. It's a big movie. It's a large scale movie. So shoot is still happening.
Mm.
So that's why I cannot reveal more things about because they keep it very very secret in Tamil
Mm.
South and Telugu industry. It's really different thing because I'm a even from my childhood I'm a really scary guy. You know, I mean I'm a guy who's scared of things. You know, I'm not a scary guy. Sorry,
I should
I'm
be
really
very
afraid of.
worried, Sham, if you're a scary guy.
No, no, no. I'm always a guy who doesn't want to involve in any fights or anything, any quarrel or happening anything. So if you see the life of an army, recently I saw a documentary in National Geographic. Inside NGO, NGS, sorry, NGS. So how they train, how they train for this all these operations and also I was like, oh man, these people are not like human beings. So much courage they have. It's not an ordinary life. We all want to live an ordinary life, right? Because we want to go home after a shoot and sleep well, wake up in the morning, eat food. But their life is totally different. We cannot even imagine how what all hardships they are going through. Because I have some friends who are in army, so they have told me their experience in the past years. So it's really really difficult to go to the places like Kashmir and stay in 0 degree and all. They have to have that willpower. So while I was shooting this, I didn't have to do with any army things because my portion is mostly in the flashback portions. I'm part of this family, so this like a love story and all going on. But I've heard their experiences who was acted in that army portion, and they were telling this really, really difficult because they were actually shooting in Kashmir, real locations, and meanwhile the shooting happening, there were some issues going on, so they had to stop the shoot and all. So they were telling us the experiences. So I was listening to all this and they were telling me, man, the life is really hard there. It's not like what we see in movies or something. It's actually really hard. So now shootouts are and everything is going on. You're just walking and you can hear a gunshot. That's not an easy thing. So I think yeah, they're the army in our country is really 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 great, and I think we all have to actually give us big salute for doing such a great thing for our country.
I'm really looking forward to this film, actually. I think Sai Pallavi is
Yeah,
amazing. I'm a big,
yeah,
big
yeah,
fan
yeah.
of her. I think she's a fabulous
I was very fortunate to do some combination scenes with Sai Pallavi and Sivakarthikeyan. And
Wow.
I could watch the way they are performing. It's really enlightening to see such great actors performing.
Wow. That's amazing. So
Yeah,
after one
yeah,
big success that you've got Premalu and now you've got Amaran coming. I mean, wow, dude, I
yeah.
mean, amazing. It's honestly amazing. But I think
Oh,
Sham, on
thank you
a
so much.
final note, going forward,
Yeah,
because as you
yeah.
mentioned, you are being approached with scripts that are very similar to Adi and you're avoiding that.
Yeah.
What what sort of character are you keen in exploring, and which other names in Indian cinema are you very excited to work with?
Oh, I want to work with every big directors in this industry. I like Anurag Kashyap a lot. Anurag sir, I'm a big fan of Anurag sir. Uh, then in Malayalam, I want to work with Priyadarshan sir. He's been an idol for me since my childhood. My first crush of a movie was a movie called Chitram uh, by Priyadarshan sir. I was in school or something, so they had this film show in schools. So I watched this movie, and there's a song in which these colorful dancers wearing colorful dresses are coming. So that's the first thing I watched the movie, and wow, this is beautiful. That's the picture I have in my mind. So that's the first time I started loving cinema. So I have a big admiration for Priyadarshan sir. And yeah, there are a lot of directors. I don't want to name a few of them because there are a lot of directors I want to work with. And the kind of roles I want to do, I'm not sure. I just want to explore. I'll see what kind of characters are coming to me. I think at this point, I think mostly similar to Adi. The characters I'm getting is kind of Adi. Some characters are coming to me. I'm telling them I'm not interested to another Adi role. So I'm looking for something which is not related to Adi, a different character. Maybe uh, I talked to few directors about few characters. I'll announce it soon. So these characters I found interesting. They have no traces of Adi, and they have some connection to me. And one of them have some connections with me, my character. And another one is totally against my character. So that's the kind of characters I want to explore. Totally different characters. I'm not sure if all these characters are coming to me or will be very different because sometimes we have to do films which we have to things like that. But yeah, I'll try my best to keep it different.
Could see you play a psycho. I could literally see you play a psycho. Honestly, with
Yeah.
your expressions, because you have this expression, Sham, which can go either way. See, comedy may be chalti hai, and I think psycho may be chal sakti hai
uh,
potentially. Because especially when
uh,
I saw Adi and the way you used to smile and give that side looks and all, now
yeah.
I spotted a very antagonist in you, and I think you could definitely pull that off very well, by the way.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a great character. So I don't mind doing antagonist. So last few weeks back, someone asked me, विलन कर सकते हैं क्या आप वापस विलन कर सकते हैं तो सर
Oh,
क्या प्रॉब्लम है विलन करने में कर सकता हूँ मैं अच्छा कैरेक्टर है तो ऑब्वियसली ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मैं अभी हीरो ही करूंगा ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है मेरे को
yeah,
it's like
बिल्कुल.
I'm getting some lead offers like to do lead characters but if the character and movie is good I'm interested otherwise I'm not just doing it for the sake of it I'm very comfortable with doing villain actually I always dreamt of doing a villain character after watching Bahubali the way Rana portrayed the villain character I always wanted to be a villain no that big villain thing
It is so true. It's very interesting. It's a very fascinating
yeah
explore. But look,
yeah
Sam, thank you so much for joining me on Filme
oh thank
Shilmy. It's been such a pleasure to have this chat with you. And I think this is also, I think, the first time where in an interview we've done it entirely in English and also with Hindi. So that makes it even more special. And I think this sort of body of work that you're doing, the content creation, independent work you're doing is so inspiring to so many people. And I think your success with Premalu really just elevates all of that even more. So thank you so much.
थैंक यू सो मच मुझे भी एक्चुअली अच्छा लग रहा है कि थोड़ा बहुत टाइम के बाद मैं हिंदी में बात किया क्योंकि मुंबई छोड़ने के बाद हिंदी में बात करने का अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलता है ना यहाँ पे कोई हिंदी में बात नहीं करता है तो
हाँ,
कोई अभी कोई शॉप अभी यहाँ पे मोस्टली शॉप्स में हिंदी लोग काम करते हैं नॉर्थ से जो लोग आते हैं यहाँ पे केरला में काम करते हैं वो लोग तो जो जैसा शॉप्स में जाता हूँ मैं मोस्टली वो लोग से हिंदी में ही बात करता है अच्छा भैया क्या है खाने में ऐसा करके तो दैट्स द ओनली टाइम आई गेट टू speak in Hindi. So now this is actually really I'm feeling like I'm going went back home. Like Mumbai is like my home. Mumbai is my favorite place.
yeah.
Mumbai is what made me I am today. So I love talking in Hindi.
Well, actually, मुझे भी मलयालम सीखनी है. I mean, the only thing I know
हाँ
is Subam Tanne. That's the only thing I know. And I know
सुगम बंधु
morning. And I know morning.
मोने
Those are the only two things that I know. I would
okay
love to learn Malayalam at some point, but I love watching the films. So, it's
yeah
really
sure
fun.
sure you'll learn Malayalam is not easy but you'll learn it's a bit
Eventually.
difficult but you'll learn.
थोड़ा थोड़ा
Yeah
सा
yeah
हाँ because I think even as I watch more Tamil films now I'm kind of picking
yeah
up certain words and even in Telugu also like थोड़ा सा वो words
हाँ हाँ
का मतलब वो मीनिंग थोड़ा सा पता चल रहा है.
हाँ एक्चुअली मलयालम और तमिल में थोड़ा इतना ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं है, थोड़ा सिमिलर है वो दोनों लैंग्वेज, मलयालम और तमिल.
हाँ
If you know Malayalam, then you can actually understand Tamil. It's like
हाँ.
very similar, these languages. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful, but definitely in that sort of, before we get lost in translation, it was really wonderful, Sam. Thank you so much for joining me, and wishing you all the very best
Thank
for
you.
Amaran as well. I can't wait to check it out.
Thank you so much, Anuj. And thank you so much for having me. I was, checking out your thumbnails before that day when you asked me about the interview. So I was like, oh my God, Manoj Bajpayee is there. These are like legends, and now my photo is going to come under these names. So I'm really, really thank you. I'm really thankful to you for having me in this prestigious conversation. I'm really happy.
Oh, prestige is ours, honestly. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you
Sham.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Sham.